bone chilling for a guy like Nick, who's on the phone with us here this morning. Nick Zaldastani is on the line with us this morning. He is a brain health expert, the CEO of a company called BrainTap. We'll get into that this morning because that's a fascinating topic. Our conversation is brought to you by Marcus and Mack, a law firm representing injured people. I'm guessing it's not going to be 79 with no humidity in Durham, North Carolina today, Nick. It's just a guess.
No, it ain't, but it's not bad.
Yeah.
We'll get on the course maybe later today.
There you go. There you go. That's the way to go about it. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that stuff. Hey, Nick, we have this study here that says even 2 to 3 beers a week can cause brain changes and cognitive decline. We had this report that came through early this morning, myths about getting drunk that we all still believe, and some of those are pretty set in stone types of things, but they now call them myths, like beer before liquor's fine, and hair of the dog won't help a hangover, and things of that nature. But we're not talking about great amounts of beer here. We're talking about 2 or 3 beers in a single week that might affect you. Is that really true?
Well, I love studies. We at BrainTap do a lot of research because we find it's very important to identify the extremes and where things are at. And so what really I see the study to significantly address is the fact that, what we don't want in our bodies is inflammation, and we don't want it in our brain also. And so even a little bit of alcohol, and they're talking about 3 beers a week, starts to create that inflammation. And, here's the good news. I'm going to dismiss this is a little bit of an extreme study. The average study suggests that 1 glass of wine or beer for a woman and 2 for a man a day, we can metabolize well. Mm-hmm. But, at the end of the day, I always say, we're our best judge of this. And so, what we're trying to do here is we're trying to make sure every day we have as much brain plasticity, brain strength. It's scientifically known as neuroplasticity, so that we really do think better, we really do sleep better, and most importantly, we perform better. And so this study, shows that in certain people, there is a decline with very little alcohol. Mm-hmm. And there are people that don't drink alcohol, and there are people that, drink more of it. I think at the end of the day, it's really about how you want to live your life. It's the same thing with food. It's the same thing with exercise. So I always say, one of the best things to do if you want to study something like this is if you are drinking, try going 2 to 3 weeks without drinking. And then at the end of that period, see how you feel. Are you feeling better? Are you thinking better? Are you sleeping better? Are you performing better? And if you are, let's put that back in now with that normality or that in mind, and you add it back in till a point where you go, okay, that's enough. And I think that at the end of the day, as we all know, there's studies every single day, different directions, but all this study did is show that there is an extreme aspect to drinking, and hey, why not see how and what we can do if we want? Because what we're learning today is the brain has to be in the game. I mean, if COVID hasn't taught us anything, it's that we really are about wanting to perform. We want better wellness. We want longevity. That means, living longer without pain. And so to do that, we have to not only have diet and exercise, but we also have to make sure our brain is fully engaged.
Well, and that changes the whole conversation, because all of a sudden now we're really broadening the entire topic to look at the brain itself and how it's functioning and its lack of functioning in certain cases is really going to affect our lives, how our lives are changing, how our lifestyles are different, and our decision-making in every aspect of our lives. And as we get older and older and older, that's always going to have a tremendous effect. So let's talk about that and what BrainTap is all about.
Yeah, so, bottom line is, I don't know about yourself, but I have always been focused on the fact that, my diet and my exercise were really important. But it wasn't until about 12 years ago I became aware of Dr. Patrick Porter's work. He's spent over now 35 years researching the brain and coming up with technology that would enhance the brain. And in 2014, he started a company called BrainTap. And BrainTap is all about bringing, think of it like Spotify for the brain. You know, it is 1,800 different sessions. You can basically dial in whatever you want. You want to be less stressed. You want to be waking up better. You want to go to sleep better. You want to perform better. You want to play golf better. You want to address some issues you might have from a pain standpoint. So it really does allow you to do all these different things. And he took all of his technology and put it on the mobile device. So it's available on Apple and on Android platform. You can go to braintap.com and get a free trial and just plug in a pair of headphones, lie down, and in 10 to 20 minutes, you will feel much more refreshed after each session. And that's really building up that brain plasticity that we don't get enough of because we don't sleep well enough. We either are stressed or we've not eaten well or we haven't exercised and we're getting older and we need that neuroplasticity, and that's what we're going to give you back.
You know, when we transition from the winter into the springtime and then the summer, there's always that period of time when you're getting outside and being able to do things that you haven't been able to do for a few months, and it takes your body a while to get used to it. It takes some training of your body in order for the lungs to have the capacity that you know that you want them to have through exercise. And the benefits of physical exercise for your body are well documented in any number of different studies, and they're just plain to see to the naked eye. Does it work that way with the brain?
Absolutely. You know, what's sad is that, I don't know about you, but if you go to the gym once a week, it's going to have a very marginal impact in your life. It will be beneficial, but very small. And it's the same thing with, brain fitness. After 72 hours, our brains sort of go back to their state of, not having knowledge of the enhancement or the stimulation you gave it. And so you do have to be thinking about your, ability to, keep your brain energized. And that is on a daily basis. It's almost like, I joke about this, but it's almost like brushing your teeth because, I always say once a day is good, twice a day is better, 3 times a day is best. Just like brain tapping. Once a day is good, twice a day is better, 3 times a day is best. And if you don't brush your teeth or you don't brain tap, you don't have any friends. It really does engage us. And when you meet someone that's really engaging, we call it charisma, but it's really someone that just is enjoying life. And who doesn't want to enjoy life? Who doesn't want to make their lives better? And so by bettering the brain and bettering, through good diet and through good exercise, the body, we can have a much better life. And people care about that now more than ever, as I said, about, because of this wonderful experience that we went through the last couple of years. We're getting really dialed in. And so that's why, this is brand new. I mean, it's just been in the last 4 years that we've seen almost every single newsstand. I mean, yesterday I was going through the airport, and sure enough, again, a whole study on the brain and how the brain can help you. And it does. I mean, it's extraordinary what the brain can do. As I said, it's the greatest pharmacy.
I, in the last 5 years, have begun to notice things about my brain as I age. I'm past 60 years of age now. And I've said to myself, boy, 5 years ago, I would not have made that mistake, that mental mistake. I would not have forgotten this. I would I would have thought this through in a different way and been better about it. The aging process and the brain's role in that aging process and the brain's ability to slow that process down of cognitive decline. Talk about that for a little bit, if you would.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think many of us sort of heard the story many years ago that the brain stops developing at the age of 25. At least that's how I was taught. And there is, it couldn't be further from the truth. The brain keeps on developing, just like our muscles do, and just like, our organs do. And so it's very important to keep it going. And this isn't just about, using it through crossword puzzles and things like that. I mean, that certainly helps. But the bigger thing is this whole thing of really building back this brain plasticity, the strengthening of the brain, allowing it to communicate well. Almost think of it like just moving the brain, and it is very similar to when we move the body. Movement of the body is absolutely critical, as we know. If you don't exercise at least 5 times a week, and I'm not talking about running to the gym. I'm talking about just doing a walk, going and doing something that moves the body, a yoga class. And, of course, you can go to the gym and do the ellipticals and all that. But movement is very important. And so by moving the brain, we actually engage it. And as a result, we get rid of all that fog that's up there. We're much more articulate. We see things differently. We think better. We obviously, when we're in that state, we're going to sleep better, as I said. And then probably the most important thing is we perform better. And so it is something that we can do, and that will, in fact, enhance our lives as we get older. But it's also equally important when we're younger. I mean, we have kids that are 5, 6, and 7 brain tapping because they're going to study better. We have, teenagers that are going through lots of changes in their life that can experience a healthier way of addressing that world. And so it's really the importance of having the brain in the game is now on the forefront, and brain fitness is now something that is becoming mainstream, and that's why we're talking about it.
Nick Zaldastani has been our guest here this morning on Indiana in the Morning. So it's called Brain Tap. Where do I learn more?
So if you go to braintap.com, you'll learn all about us. It's an app that will give you, when you go there, a free trial, and then you can subscribe to that app. But also we have a headset that adds light to the equation that makes it even more engaging. I always say brain tapping with a regular pair of headphones is like watching a movie on an iPad, and using it with a headset is like going to an IMAX theater. Same content, same thing, but it's just more engaging. So anyway, I do it up to 3 times a day and just love it.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thanks so much for joining us today. Enjoy your day.
Great, Todd, and good to meet you.
All right, have a wonderful day. It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS, 101.1 FM and AM 1160.